Welcome, fellow fan stands, to the Week 10 Season 9 finals. This was between Fastbond Doomsday, played by Connor, which has your Doomsday win, but also a Ramanap Archaeological Dig Fastbond package for fast mana, and the Fastbond Ramp deck, played by Tim, which just looks to power out a lot of mana, a lot of 2-for-1s, and then end the game with Nissa, or Champion of Wits. Let's head on to Game 1. Alright, welcome to Game 1. On the left we have Tim playing his Fastbond Ramp deck, and on the right we have Connor playing the Doomsday variation. Now Connor leads us off, putting a card back on the bottom with an Underground Sea, passing the turn over to Tim, who plays a Mox into a Soul Ring, into Gemstone Mines, tapping it right away for a 3-mana spell, being Wheel of Fortune. And it looks like Connor had a mental misstep in their hand, choosing not to counter the Soul Ring. Maybe they were worried about the marquee card that both these cards are playing, the Fastbond. But getting slightly punished there. Each player drawing a new hand of 7 cards, but Tim is not over yet. Going to play another 2 Moxes, Mox Jet and Mox Sapphire, into an Ancestral Recall. So Tim will draw 3 cards. And pass over the turn. Tim's got 6 mana already in their first turn. Connor will play a Bayou. Tap it for a Soul Ring. And tap the Soul Ring for... Alright, we're bringing out some mana symbols. This represents a colorless mana floating in the pool. We've got a Chromatic Sphere and a Dark Ritual into a Doomsday. And it looks like Tim has no response to that. Nothing quite in Tim's hand. All they can do is hope and pray that Connor ends up messing up, but there's a reason these players got to the finals. It's unlike them to make any huge mistakes at this point. So here Connor is representing using the floating mana to crack the Chromatic Sphere and convert that mana into blue mana. This will have Connor draw a card for Ancestral Recall and has the mana to play it. But we'll just let Connor show us here. Tim taking a look through the pile. One thing about playing Doomsdays in Game 1 is that you really display all your information. So Tim gets to see exactly what variation Connor's playing, gets to know what else they need to watch out for besides just the Doomsday package. And also by looking through the graveyard, maybe hoping to have Connor worry about what Tim could potentially have. But here Connor's just going to go for it, ancestraling themselves, drawing into this Mox Sapphire and Black Lotus. Crack the Lotus for a Jace, uptick Jace to mill, and draw a card. Drawing a card from an empty library, Jace wins the game. And Tim revealing that they had the option to stifle this if they had another turn to untap with Karn. But Game 1 going to Connor. Here in Game 2, we'll now have Tim be on the play. Both players gonna take a peek at their hands. Looks like Connor's got a pretty powerful one with Time Walk and Ancestral in hand. Tim also has some value engines in Bontu, Faf, and Champion of Wits. But we're gonna lead off with Mox Jet into Mana Vault, into Underground Sea. Getting prepared for the Bontu on turn 2. Connor leads with a Fastbond start from a Bayou. Now both of these players playing Fastbond, allowing them to just empty their hands really quick. Lets them really punish opposing players who are using wheels and take advantage of their own wheels. But we've got Connor playing another lands after the Ancestral Recall, and to matching Tim's start with this Mana Vault. Tim tapping 3 here for the Bontu. And Bontu, 5 mana, 5/6 with Menace. When it enters the battlefield, you can sacrifice any number of permanents you control and then draw a card for each permanent sacrificed. Tim here is going to sacrifice that Mana Vault. You know, they don't currently have enough mana to untap it, and tapping it would slow them down in their future turns. So they got the value of being able to get this Bontu out really quick, and so that Mana Vault is no longer necessary. But now this is putting Connor on a quick clock, just 4 turns, and if Tim's able to deploy the Champion of Wits in their hand, that'll be a 3-turn clock instead. Connor just opting for a Time Walk. It looks like they have a Karn in hand. So they'll pay 4 mana for Karn, shutting off Tim's Mox. Also, notably would have shut off Tim's Mana Vault, so it's a great thing that he ended up sacrificing for value. Connor's grabbing a Mirage Mirror from Karn's downtick, and this Time Walk means that Karn will be able to untap with Karn again and grab the other half of this Time Vault combo. Doesn't currently have enough mana to play both and win the game necessarily with infinite turns, but if they're able to get enough fast mana out, then they could just do it all right here. But Connor, going into the turn, wants to give themselves that opportunity to spike all the quick mana, and so they won't untap this Mana Vault here. They do downtick and grab Time Vault from the sideboard. So now Tim will need like some sort of wheel or discard spell to get these out of Connor's hand. I don't think Tim has many particular ways to deal with these permanents once they're already resolved. But Connor's kind of putting Tim in check, saying, "Do you have it? Can you stop what I'm doing?" And Tim giving a real think. They've got Fact or Fiction and this Champion of Wits in hand. Maybe they can draw into something enough to deal with the combo from the other side. We've got Tim going for Champion of Wits. Now, there is a Karn on the other side of the battlefield, so you can't tap that Mox Jet just yet. So, playing a land, draw 2 cards, discarding 2 Mind Cranks. Tim ready for the Doomsday combo, but presenting this Karn is just way too much, and Tim conceding, Connor winning the finals with a clean 2-0 victory.